the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awijan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. Well, it's kind of like today. I'm doing this in a very unique situation. Again, I work second shift generally, so when I'm not doing lawns, when the lawn season hasn't officially started yet, I'm generally off in the mornings. Today the power is out because they're changing out the big pole, the big pole where like all the electric wires and the cable wires might be connected and with the light, like the classic street light look in the apartment. So yeah, a pole was hit like 4 or 5 years ago and damaged a bit. And I was figuring, well, they're probably going to replace that one of these days. It wasn't broken, but it might break someday. Well, today they finally came to do it. Yesterday they started a process like digging around and such to probably get out the old one eventually, and maybe remove some of the wiring and such. And are putting in the new pole now. It's significantly taller, this and that. So recording while the power is out, which is fun. I wanted to kind of try it and figured it'd be interesting. And it's obviously something to do, that's for sure. It's kind of like it's a free time. It's like a different type of free time, that type of thing, other than being outside in the beautiful weather, which is a tiny bit chilly right now, but I do have the windows open. And figured I'd maybe talk about our favorite season. Like, what's your favorite season? There's spring, summer, fall, winter, or autumn and winter and such. For me, it's going to always be spring. As a kid, it was always summer. Obviously, swimming, this and that. There's so many wonderful aspects to summertime. Being able to swim, it's warm, going out barefoot, wearing as little as possible without being naughty. You know what I mean? Like wearing shorts, a tank top, whatever, wearing less. So you don't have to, you don't have to dress warm, so to speak, anything like that. You're dressing to breathe, so your skin can breathe, less sweating and such. So summer, obviously, is still very high on the list, but spring, there's nothing like spring. And the very beginning of spring, like say late March, early April, it's a special time, even though you can't do a whole lot. There's the bad part about it, but it's like the beginning of it all. And by the time it gets to be like July-ish and all of that, you're kind of like, gosh, I wish it was like April again, because you just know autumn's coming. You just know right around the corner, August, the sunlight is going to get less and less and less and less and less. You're going to get darker mornings, probably more humidity, more dew on the ground, this and that. Where spring, there's a dryness in the air, and when it does rain, it's like a refreshing kind of a rain, and thirst-quenching kind of rain. And you start to see the ground start to green up a bit. You start to see the grass green up. You start to see the little plants coming out. And eventually, as you get further into spring and it warms up, when it's the most gorgeous time of year, around May, all the flowers bloom and everything, like on the plants and trees. And oftentimes, some of that stuff starts in mid to late April as well, depending on what kind of a spring you're going to have. But spring is a magical time. So for me, spring will always be for the rest of my life, most likely, spring will be my favorite season. That's what's so wonderful about Easter, other than, of course, Christ has risen. Obviously, that's the main thing about it. But there's the fun side of it as well. The fact that, it's spring. Spring is starting up again. It's wonderful. You have more energy. There's more sunlight and all of that. When it's not raining, but it doesn't always rain all that much. Sometimes you get a nice dry spring, and oftentimes those are the best of all. If it's raining somewhat, of course that's required. But if it's kind of relatively dry but still enough rain, this and that, off and on, spring can be absolutely magical. Especially if it lasts a while. Like it starts a little earlier and kind of hangs around. It doesn't jump into summer right away. Like the humidity doesn't jump up. The dew point doesn't jump into the 50s. Kind of like June-like weather, and then to ultimately 60s and beyond, which is what very few people like. Some of you out there might like humidity. I know some people do, and I'm like, move to Florida, dang it. Like if you want the dew point to be 70 and you love it, I'm not sure. But there's people out there, I'm sure quite a few, that do like that. Me, I like it more like dew points in the 40s, 50s, 30s, like low 50s. Upper 50s, that's kind of June-ish, and then it's time to go out and go swimming. And obviously it's a fun time. Unfortunately, June has been tarnished a bit with politics and identity politics, which is unfortunate. I think June should just be June. I think every month should be what it is. It doesn't need to be this month, that month, this month, that month, all about identity, all about gender, this and that, race. I get tired of all that. I think it's unnecessary. I think seasons and holidays should be about the seasons and holidays versus identity politics. Like people that kind of want to run their mouth in December about lots of holidays in December, this and that. See, some people probably like winter because they like Christmas. You like Christmas and the lead up to Christmas. It's a fun and special time. It's long, but at the same time, it goes by so quickly. Like it's Thanksgiving, and next thing you know, it's Christmas, and it's over that quick. So there's always that. Sorry, the big Michael's truck moving around, at least a few of them back there with dealing with that pole and the electricity. But this is kind of fun and unique, recording this with the power being out. It is kind of funny, yet still indoors rather than outside. Even though, because I was outside for a while, so I might go out again. We'll see, depending on the amount of time here. But, see, spring is the best season in my humble opinion, but there's positives to all of them, of course. Spring, you get the better sunlight. You get that everything's kind of coming back to life again. It's wonderful. You have more energy. You can maybe go barefoot again, which obviously, if you listen to Gary Brecka, Ultimate Human, grounding is important. It's something people should do every day. Cold showers are really good, obviously, so it's cool to listen to that. Gary Brecka, the Ultimate Human. I'd say it works. I'd say the cold shower works. Unfortunately, here in Minnesota, at least where I come from, not all of you are from here. You're from a warmer climate, like maybe a Kentucky, a Florida, Texas, wherever. Yeah, Missouri, something. You can probably ground more often, where you go barefoot on the earth, like grass, sand, dirt, whatever, this and that, where you discharge a bit. You discharge some of the electricity in your body, and it's actually extremely good for you. So that must be why I always felt so good going barefoot. Like, say, I want to swim and things like that, because you have to be barefoot in order to swim. So obviously watch out for bees or rocks or this and that. There's always that. But being able to ground, though, it feels great. Obviously, fresh air is super important. Being out in fresh sunlight, it's so important. Obviously, spring and summer provide that in a big way. Fall, there's the festive side of it, and you get rid of the humidity, it starts to go away, it cools down. So that's the positive side of fall. The negative, I think, is it gets darker in the morning, darker in the evening, shorter sunlight. Your energy levels drop, maybe, unfortunately, unless you're like really good about exercising, like really good. But still, less sunlight is less sunlight. It's not necessarily a good thing. This and that. So you get the pretty fall colors. It's gorgeous. So you get a bit of that. You get some festivities. You get some holidays coming up, like we'll call it Hallelujah Night. Some people call it Halloween. eventually Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, leading up to all of that. And if you're, if you happen to be a beer drinker, a lot of nice seasonal beers come out around fall into winter. So there's that as well. Obviously, this and that. It depends on your taste and such. I probably shouldn't even be mentioning that, but there is that out there. It's one of those things. There's seasonal stuff, seasonal coffees as well. But that can be all year. Fall blend, holiday/Christmas blend, Thanksgiving blend, outstanding, and even spring blend coffee. This and that. Some of that stuff is just wonderful. I know I'm kind of rambling and kind of talking weird. Maybe some of you may or may not like what I'm saying, but I don't know. That's kind of where, that's what kind of time of year it is where I really start to reflect on the seasons. I love spring. I love, just love it so much as I might repeat myself. My feminine side, I like flowers. I like lilacs, especially as we head into May. I like the smell of lilacs in the air. If I'm out doing lawns and such, and there's lilac plants, bushes, trees, whatever, I stop and smell them a bit, especially the purple ones. So, I don't, it's my, whatever the word is. You call it feminine side, your compassionate, or whatever the word is. Like your gentle side. That's kind of what's going on when it comes to me and things like that. There's like, what's the other one? Bleeding hearts. Definitely not politically, but bleeding heart flowers are very nice as well. They tend to pop out in May. They're pretty cool looking. I know a lot of people like those. So that's what you enjoy with spring. You look forward to it. And again, the higher energy levels. And yes, sometimes better income if I can get back to spring cleanups work. But unfortunately, the money doesn't come for a long time because, you bill people out monthly. That's what my brother does. And it takes forever, that type of thing. So that's the negative side of it at times to that. But at least eventually some money comes and you can have, in my case, I can have a second income. Unless some of you want to help donate to this show, there is a link in there. I could use some help, obviously. I think we all can. My microphone stand is basically broken. Like one of the legs is completely broken. I have to put it back in place. And if it pops out again, the mic tips over. The top of the microphone's damaged a bit. So, yes, a little financial support would be nice. I could use some help. I could. It's not cheap, unfortunately, even though it's, it's not this big expensive thing, but at the same time it's not cheap either, and this and that. So if you want to support the show, it would be greatly appreciated by simply donating in the support the show link. That's pretty much all you have to do with that. Other than that, though, I hope you're having a wonderful springtime. Most of you probably live in the Western Hemisphere, so spring is definitely in play, and this is definitely like the first real super duper week of spring coming up, particularly around this area. So I hope you have yourself a wonderful time. Take care. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.